We will be discussing a book, life story of someone who is close to our heart in Odisha, and also we would like her to speak few lines in Odia as well. Right. This is like a book discussion. This is also to know the human being, and also how the human being looks at life, not just her life, life she touches, and life she wants to touch upon. So we have three distinguished ladies here. I am the only man here, odd man out. So I will be odd man out really. And I will hand it over to everyone to share things. I will play a lesser role. First we'll launch the book. So please give the books to all our panelists here. I'll read the name of the panelist. Anita Rathore Jadeja, Anurita Rathore Jadeja, Manjula Pooja Shroff, who is inside the middle of the team, and then Renu Kaur. Thank you.
Sir, close.
Close.
Sir.
बोलते हुए
भाई के पक्ष से भाई सर
Okay? English is fine, very good. Because the book is also in English. So, why this book? First question. For anyone in the audience, पहला सवाल, ये किताब क्यों? पहला. दूसरा, आपने किताब का नामकरण ऐसे किया है कि सक्सेस मंत्रा. आजकल बच्चे लोग सक्सेस ढूंढते रहते हैं, चाहे वो MBA कर रहे हैं, बीटेक कर रहे हैं, करियर ढूंढ रहे हैं और मिड करियर में सक्सेस ढूंढ रहे हैं. तो ऐसा क्या है इस किताब में जो हम सबको जानना चाहिए और पढ़ना चाहिए? फर्स्ट विल स्टार्ट विद यू.
एक सक्सेसफुल हेलो, गुड आफ्टरनून, ग्रेट टू बी हियर. कोई भी सक्सेसफुल इंसान के बारे में जब हम पढ़ते हैं तो उससे हमें बहुत सीखने को मिलता है और हमें ये पता चलता है कि उनकी लाइफ में कितने स्ट्रगल्स, कितने चैलेंजेस और ऐसे कितने सिचुएशंस आए होंगे जिनको क्रॉस करके वो वहाँ पहुँचे हैं जहाँ पहुँचे हैं. इसीलिए सक्सेस मंत्रास जो टाइटल, आई मीन इट इज़ वेरी सिंपल टू एक्सप्लेन दैट. व्हाई अ बुक ऑन हर? सो वी आर बेस्ड इन अहमदाबाद. ये यहाँ की हैं, बट हम अहमदाबाद में रहते हैं, गुजरात में. एंड ऑफ कोर्स आई हैव बीन अ जर्नलिस्ट फॉर 20-25 years now. I started very young and I've met a lot of people. It always interested me to know, whenever one meets people who have a life which is very comfortable and then they've made it nice and big, it's nice to know about their stories. But I think it is even more interesting when you come to know that a person has seen various extremes in their life and then they have been able to do something meaningful from their life. And that is one of the key points that made me feel that a book on her life should be done. From the age, like whether or later, there is something interesting to know about her life and to figure that, okay, these were the situations and yet somehow she managed to carry on, have strength, have focus. Those became some of the key points to have a book on her life and journey.
Right. I think you are touching upon something like inspiration.
Yes.
That and inspiration is itself a literature. So if literature cannot inspire to make us do better action,
Yes.
then perhaps literature will miss a point.
Right.
So through human biographies and their stories, what we learn is their resilience, rise and fall, and rise again.
Yes.
That is where I think the book is located. How do you see, ma'am, when we talk about women, we normally have a like daughter, mother, wife, mother, then mother. The entire thing is put into a basket, or that is just glass ceiling always. So how do you look at successful women and why they are more important to be celebrated?
I think it's never been easy for women to succeed. So the reason to celebrate them. Like for example, whatever little I know of Manjula Shroff, it's not been easy with her also. So there has been, her life has been a roller coaster ride, right from her childhood. So that is how, even though she belongs to a royal family of Odisha, so the impression is that she must have had, silver. She is born with a silver spoon. But even those women who are privileged, it is very difficult for them to, break that glass ceiling. So I think that's the reason why they should be celebrated, and they are inspiration for hundreds of millions of other women. So that calls for celebration, that more the celebration, more they are known, so more people know about them, and so there is a transformation. People like to look up to them, and they like to become like them.
So that we have more women for our young girls to look up to as an inspiration. So when we say ideas turn into purpose and purpose builds passion, what makes them achievable is the will to deliberate upon and pursue them. So the talk of the town, let me go to the center and say, what are ideas and actions to you, and how you reflect them into your lifestyle? Idea, action, and perhaps we're talking about how you would like to inspire your generation and next generations.
Again. Of course. Mo Odia tike rusted because mu 25 barsa hala eithi rahini, mu Gujarat re baha heki Gujarat Ahmedabad re rahuchi, but mu Odia jhiya. My heart is in Orissa. If I can take a little bit time and give a background, tapre mo ideas action upre asibe. Mu Surangi Palace re Ganjam district re jo Orissa o Andhra ro border re amara palace is called Ichapuram Palace. Apar jodi NH8 upre drive kariki Vizag porjante jibe, right re mo palace apaku dekhibo. You could not have missed it. It's right there. It's like a landmark. Many decades ago, mu sethi jamu naithile. Orissa is very familiar with princely states. Apan samaste jani chanti Raja Rani stories, and dekhi chanti. You would have interacted also. Gujarat re ete popular nahi chate Orissa re achi. Anybody apan jodi gote princess ya rani kahibe, the first impression that you get is, "Are kete fortunate, are kete sundar." It's true, because our DNA has come from many from the Aryan civilization, mixed blood. So we are blessed with good looks, right? So these are the first two things. Could a romantic notion as could a princess sunde. It is true. It is my good fortune, mor bahut bada karma thiba, that I am born in a royal family. But the story ends there, at least more mine. In a royal family, there are royal ways. If I was one of those women, jo mane bahut bhala dekhi ke na mane, you sit in a gungat, you are a second class citizen. Mu jodi simti heithanti, it would be a beautiful life for me. But mo chuavlu, I knew that mo maa jilti parda re rahithile, that is not my life. I just knew. So, apan ye bhi janthibe that ladies of the royal family ko sirf setiki padhaya jauthala, so that to make them marketable. I'm a convent school samajh jaichu, we speak very good English, but we would be only taught 10th, 12th porjanta, so that amku gote bhala bora milibo. Besi bhi amku padha jau nathla, so that emti na ho that we are more educated than the men. Even that I understood, that jadi mate padhaya jauchi, it is only because they are making me marketable in marriage. Now you see, if I had such unconventional ideas, mu kute parda vitara rahi kimti paranti. I had figured out jadi mu khali education, nijku higher education jodi kare debi, then I can make something of myself. So that was how my life began. The book, of course, talks about a lot of things. Today, the way I am, I'm an edupreneur. मैं बहुत schools बनेची गुजरात में. That is because I was almost not given education myself. I realized the value of education. Setipai, when I went to Gujarat and I went to Ahmedabad Indian Institute of Management, वो किसी भी कर पाता नहीं. I could have started a company, but I got into education because I wanted to provide that same opportunity to another girl or another student. जोड़ा मोते almost मिली न थला. So I think ideas shape. How we are born. छुआ बड़े जिमती. We are the same people as we grow up. If you have unconventional ideas, you need unconventional guts to make them happen. For me, it was not easy, but ideas and actions are very correlated. Ideas are said. To make it actionable, I think the link is internal guts.
निश्चित भाବରେ इंटरनल गॉड्स କଥା ଆପଣ କହିଲେ ଯେ ଆମ ଭିତରେ ସେଭଳି ଭାବରେ ଇଚ୍ଛା ଶକ୍ତି ଥିବା ଦରକାର. Sorry for Odia.
No, I didn't understand.
तो आप उड़िया समझ आ रहे? अच्छा.
इन लोगों को मेरी लाइफ स्टोरी तो पता ही है ना, इन्होंने लिखा है, इन्होंने पब्लिश किया है, तो समझेंगे कैसे नहीं?
So it's, now the Odia translation is due. Right. ଆପଣ जो आंतरिक इच्छा शक्ति କଥା କହିଲେ, internal will power. Is it inherent in people, or it is something that people develop, or it can be developed because some life-changing situation or accident comes in? So these are difficult philosophical questions, but I would like to know, why did you choose education, kind of an intervention from your side? You yourself are coming from a, I will say, spoon background. You could have done business, which you can do, and can do other things as well. Why education as a focus of your life? What do you want to achieve through that? Quick on that.
So I'll take your first part. जो philosophy आपन कहले, what shapes a human being? If we are born, हमें जो जन्म नेचु, मृत्यु is certain. In between birth and death, our purpose of life hochi to understand death. हमें जो जन्म नेचु, the higher purpose is to understand death. And if that is the purpose of life, then I have a very strong disadvantage or advantage, whichever way you look at it. By the time, there's a very good friend of mine, Daisy, sitting in the room. She's Pranati Das. A lot of people know her, but she's my dear friend Daisy. I can't call her Pranati even. Daisy knows, and anybody that I grew up in this town knows. By the time of 21 years age, I had lost everybody in my life, every responsible person in my life. My mother, my father, about 3 buas, my younger brother, my uncle who I was very attached to, my grandmother who almost adopted us because my mother used to not keep well. By 21, I was at a crossroad in life, not knowing where to go. So when you say, where does the internal strength comes from, you have only 2 choices, to swim or to sink. Life, when it throws you in rough waters, you will either swim or you sink. But you know, I started fighting. So I was born a fighter. More kichhi option hi nathila. Sinking was never an option. Wo to khali swimming kari chal liya pada. It took me to Gujarat. Orissa coast to swimming kari chali gali Gujarat.
Traditionally also, Odia merchants, they crossed the maritime trade, reached to Bali, Sumatra, Java, and you did that in the modern times, went to Gujarat. So Gujarat also had a glorious maritime trade history, Gujarat trade history. So coming back to author now, what strikes you in Madam's life? She didn't answer the education question. Otherwise, she answered the philosophical question first. The willpower and resilience. what strikes in her life and work, and she chose education as a medium of intervention, and why we need more people like her.
So I have known her for close to 20 years now as a journalist. And whenever there is something in this, we all know, I mean, if there are people here who are with the media, whenever there's something interesting happening in the city, Women's Day, there are certain people we turn to and we talk to them and they have some nice things to say. तो वो सब तो होता ही था. But honestly, the more I got to know about her, one has seen her education, what she has done, her initiatives, वो सब हमने देखा है. And for 10 years, 20 years. But जब इनकी लाइफ स्टोरी के बारे में मुझे पता चला, when she told me exactly what she just mentioned, about how being born and brought up in a family like this and then to face difficult situations emotionally especially at a very young age, for me that was one of the key reasons to want to know her more and write this book, because mine has been exactly the opposite. I come from a royal family as well, but for me till the age of 34, until I got married, I was almost as if I'm a school or a college going girl. Career life was smooth, you are totally looked after, very loving parents, सब सामने है, कुछ life का देखा ही नहीं है stress or tension. So for me personally, why I find it very attractive to know about her life is because when you see only very smooth life, then you want to know how somebody couldn't fade away, how somebody didn't slip away, how somebody got up and continued to move. So I think one of the things that I really like about her is that she has a lot of focus. She's focused on the ahead, not focused on क्या side में हो रहा है, क्या पीछे हो रहा है. Okay, I'm sure she has her own moments when there are, moments where she's thinking about people she's had, they are not there, all the changes that took place. Even leaving your own state or city and going to a different place is not always easy. It's the same whether you leave your country and go to another country or you leave your own city and state and go to another place. It's the same feeling, right? So it's not always easy. So for somebody who's always been in one state, city, protected life, it was a very, very interesting thing to know her story the more I got to know. And one thing that really I felt was similar is her love for her mother. When she would talk about her mother or when she has spoken about her son, I could relate every word. What I feel for my mother and what I feel for my child. So there were these very interesting moments, when I would feel that she's saying something, it's almost as if I want to, it's the same that I felt.
That
or if I was saying,
connection.
Yeah, and if I said something, she was being able to complete things. So all of that, it was a very interesting journey. And people ask, sometimes that were there fights, were there difficult moments, because what happens between subjects and the author. Interestingly, there was nothing like that,
I was about to come to that.
I don't think there were any parts of the book, so I thought I would say it this time. So there were no parts of the book where it was like, no, it shouldn't be this way. I think there was a very good mutual understanding and it flowed easily.
Now coming back to the writing craft, हम जब कोई किताब किसी इंसान पे लिखते हैं, उनके जीवन के बारे में, जिंदगी के बारे में लिखते हैं, उनकी अच्छाइयाँ हाईलाइट करना चाहते हैं, डेफिनेटली वो काम करते हैं. उनके साथ जो डिफिकल्टीज उन्होंने फेस किया, और काइंड ऑफ इज दिस अ बुक वेयर यू आर एबल टू deal with the difficulties and the struggles that the person goes through? That is one. Second, did you have difficulty to also understand the person and go deeper because you know her for some time? That is one. You are a female also, you can connect to that. That apart from that, as you said, subject and writer, here is a publisher also. Will ask, is that an easy task to write about someone? क्योंकि क्या होता है, या तो वो हाइडियोग्राफी जिसमें बोलते हैं कि आप प्रशंसा करते हो सर, दूसरा होता है you write a critical analysis like academics do, they don't take a position, or other people write about absolute criticism that people maybe there are also Hitler, so they write about how he was a bad person, or someone might write and eulogize he was a good person. So what challenges did you face as a writer when writing about her, knowing her struggle, difficult times? Was it easy to put them into words, and was it a smooth journey or it was a difficult journey? And would you like to share some of them?
It was definitely not a difficult journey, like I just said, and sorry, there were too many
questions.
Yeah.
So was it a difficult journey?
It was not difficult, first of all. Understanding, yes. So, I've been a features editor for almost all my life now. Very young, I became the features head at just 24. And since then to now, I was always, I have all my life been interviewing people, and it has been my biggest hobby and interest.
So is there anything revealing here?
So I'll tell you. So when you read this book,
For everyone.
For anybody who reads this book, yes, it may be a little easy to fall in love with the person, number one. For all the challenges she's faced, for what she is, for little joys that she seeks and sees in life. One is that. The other thing is that it wasn't challenging to put anything.
No secrets.
There are, yeah, that she can answer. So the other things, when you say that was it difficult to portray and all, no, when you understand a person well, it is not very difficult to portray and write about their challenges. And one key thing, nothing has been glorified. If successes are not glorified, sad and personal moments have also not been glorified, because there is no need to do that. That's her personality, and somewhere as a writer, that is my personality. So one doesn't feel that छुपाया है, कुछ नहीं छुपा हुआ है. किताब पढ़ेंगे तो, और दूसरी अच्छी बात ये है, what people are saying is, and what they feel is that after reading it, you of course get to know the person, but you get to know that there are so many other things in life. You know how you can seek joy through travel. You can, when one woman is supporting another woman, how interesting that can be. Little challenges as a mother. You have a small child. You're going to another city for a meeting, coming back. How do you balance it all? So, ऐसी चीजें हैं which anyone will be able to relate to.
Right.
Even the men will be able to relate for whatever the women are.
It's actually not a typical biography. Biography just kabhi hai geography, as you said. It's not that. It is basically a leadership book. It tells you how to sail through the difficult moments of life, and also it gives you that inspiration. It gives you life lessons. So it is not typically a biography.
And from a producer perspective, what would you suggest to our budding and writers? What kind of book do you prefer to publish in the genre of biography?
To be as purposeful, to be as determined, to be as resilient as Manjula Shroff. So it is a pleasure to do such books.
Also, one last line that I'd like to add, to be smiling through everything. To be smiling through everything, even difficult situations, okay, they come, they go.
Right.
But never to sort of let go yourself in such a way that you are totally surrounded by glue. No matter what, get up and go.
Before I go to the subject secrets, I would like to go to the writer's secrets. So, what was your schedule of writing this book? How many words you write at one point of time? You write at a stretch. Maybe you might say that I'm a mother, so I write in the morning, early morning. So I'm not asking what the hacks for our.
No time, nothing like that. I write when I feel, and then I write best. So there would be times when I would be writing continuously for 16 hours, and then there would be
16 hours?
Yeah, I would continue to write with good breaks. A restaurant break here and there, or a coffee break here and there, and then there were days when I didn't write for weeks.
That is engagement. 16 hours engagement.
I feel that you have to feel. So the moment if I started writing something that she spoke to me about, and I felt it, I lived it. I always tell everyone that, this is something that I've said everywhere, like how actors when they are going to enact a role, they say, they get into the character. I got into the character. So when there were moments where I got into the character, writing kept on happening. I don't see then time and all of that. I think that's probably one of the best ways I feel as a writer. One should have. Yeah, at night. I like to write continuously at night.
That was one secret to do.
You have to be at peace with yourself. At peace with yourself, and even if it is, even if you are surrounded by people, there were times when my daughter would come and ask me something and all, but sometimes those loving words, Mama, how much have you written? Oh, you have not finished what you wanted to write. So if I tell her, I didn't finish what I wanted to write. Okay, then I will not come here. I said, no, you come here. When you come here, I like to see you and then again write, but don't talk to me beyond a sentence. And she would do exactly that. These small little things here and there. And the other thing that we have done is, I would ask her questions, she would tell me, and then based on that, like I said, I think I understood her too well.
Over to the subject secrets.
Would you agree? Would you agree? Yes. So I think I'll add that she used to write around 2 o'clock because she would send me the emails and I would read in the morning. So maximum emails I used to get in the middle of the night. So that's why I wanted to pitch in and say ki she's an early or late night writer maybe. I want to talk about when you were asking secrets, right? देखिए जो process था इनके साथ जो process था ना से मते bunch of questions लिखते थे 20, 30, 40 questions हमें either verbally इनके answer करते लिए ना email रे answer करते लिए. I want to talk to you from the perspective of book इनती answer करते लिए. अब देखो तो this book has 2 real parts. गोटे you know in my mind गोटे milestone अच्छे and then finally Ahmedabad. सत्य की पर्यंत it is my life in Orissa. Ahmedabad pore became my life in Gujarat. माने मुझे सीधा milestone है कुछ. The way I used to answer, I have been well written about. I have been a public figure. जितने first part लोग को पढ़ी बे till Ahmedabad, Orissa लोग को will be judging कि कितने factual है. देखो तो at the end of the day it may not be a biography but it's my responses.
Right.
From Ahmedabad chapter जितने पढ़ी बे Gujarat people will be judging how factual it is. Till now, there is not a single feedback that is this is not factual. But I will tell you, mukimti bhagitili. When you lose so many people in your life, maturity comes to you very early.
Very, very unfortunate way of getting mature, but
मुझसे बाहिर लिखी थी actually there is a word that sometimes people forget that strong people can get tired of being strong. I'm just perceived like a rock, but even I get tired sometimes of being like that. However, maturity comes, life teaches you. When I was responding, and in hindsight, I'll give you an example which I really realized that it's very good. जो मैंने मुझे बहुत भला रे जान चलती, से कहिबे that this book is only 2-3 layers. If she is about 10 layers, the book is 2-3 layers because they know such hard facts about my life. Today I want to give you the example of Prince William's books called Spare. About देखो तो Prince William रो जो book है Spare, सेटारे से समस्तिंग को बिसरे लिखी जाती है. ताकर closest people, father, mother, naming them, naming incidents. I could have done that.
Second book.
Not a good idea. Museta Koji, that 3 years ago I had that maturity not to do that. When she's asking the questions, it's an open-ended question. See, when you do that, you don't have a right to play with somebody else's life. I can't involve another human being. I have to work on is the balance. To tell an authentic story, to tell the real story, but to stay in my jurisdiction. So you have a freedom to swing your hand, but it should not touch anybody's nose. I tried my best to maintain that. Whether it is my son, whether it is my husband, whether it is my friends, whether it is my relationships, I never tread that path. And that is really maturity. On the internet, if you read what they're doing to William and his honest truth, what did he do? He just bare truth likhile. But is that fair is the question.
Right. Those questions will remain. I think we are coming to an end of the session, and this is fascinating to learn about an author who thinks about a person who is a public figure, and the public figure willingly participates in that process of giving information and sharing information about her life, shares her journey and struggle and rise and fall and resilience and all that, and a successful book comes out and the publisher is willing to publish that book. So these are all important aspects. We'll definitely later on. Okay. So we have 3-4 minutes of last final Q&A. Anyone who has a question or comment or something very quickly would like to mention something. This is a book about a person, and the author is here, the person is here, the publisher is here, and all are women. March 8 is not far. କିଛି ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ଅଛି କି କାହାର ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ବି କହିପାରିବେ, ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ବି ପଚାରି ପାରିବେ କି ହିନ୍ଦୀରେ କିମ୍ବା ଇଂଲିଶରେ?
Madam, how many books have you authored?
Me?
Madam, how many books have you authored? And do you take interest in writing novels or stories or essays or critical appreciations like that? What is your field of interest?
Again, I'm a very good trainer. It is meant for you. I'm a very, very good trainer. I'm a leader. I do human development. So all my writing is about human development. Muniche likhe scripts, muniche taku train karaye, and I take people, like I said, the biggest advantage that I've been gifted with is the understanding of death. So I run a digital school called Shroffism for you, and I teach people the distinction death. How to live a purposeful life till you meet death.
Thank you, thank you.
She also runs a group of institutions called as Calavex. Basically 56 plus institutions, majorly schools, right? And she has touched the lives across 65,000 students in this country. And these schools are the best schools in Gujarat and across the country.
Thank you for that additional information, because she wouldn't have said that. We need someone to tell about the good work people do.
She also runs school for underprivileged children.
It's called as Visamo Kids Foundation, wherein she picks up students as young as class 1 from the underprivileged families of Gujarat all across different districts. She brings them to Ahmedabad, she makes them stay with her, and she gives them the best of shelter, the best of nourishment, and these kids go to the best of schools. The entire fees is sponsored, their stay is sponsored till the time they come out of college. And then she tries to place them to the best of companies. So those kids are today chartered accountants, engineers, they got to IIT, they are architects, and name what, and they're there. So, and you cannot differentiate these kids to a normal kid as
Right,
a kid that is in our own households. So.
Thank you. I think we will wind up here with the sentence that coming from a privileged family and working for the underprivileged to making them privileged. That is more important. And all people who come from privileged families perhaps forget that that privilege comes from with a responsibility.
Absolutely. To give back.
Give back. Thank you.
She's available for signing and autographing the book in case anybody wants to. All of them are available for signing and autographing in case anybody wants to make autographs.